So I'm going to just show a few slides to just introduce the Collaboratory briefly, and then we're going to hear from our secretaries. So if we could advance that slide. So we're, first of all, kind of a oxymoron, Chesapeake Global Collaboratory. That was quite intentional. We are rooted and based in Chesapeake Bay. We've been working on Chesapeake Bay for 98.7 years, and we feel like we've done a good job of trying to steward the Bay through that 98 plus years. But we also want to have a global impact, and we want to learn from others and vice versa, have them learn from us. So we want to do both local and global relevant research. So that's why we're calling it the Chesapeake Global Collaboratory. And of course, the word collaboratory is to embrace the fact that it's not just academia. We want to work with our partners. So what we've established in this collaboratory is a concept that we're going to have innovative tools. We're going to use artificial intelligence, machine learning, all the new data mining and scraping and management tools and analysis. We want to have diverse voices coming to the table. We want to have new, equitable representation about our future. And we want to use novel approaches. We want to truly embrace the concept of transdisciplinary research. And so we've chosen speakers specifically for those topics and organized our breakouts specifically for that. And one of the reasons is we're facing these major global challenges, and this audience does not need to know a list of challenges. We know what's in front of us. But what we've got now are these new science tools, and they're rapidly evolving, and we want to embrace and capture those. This innovation discovery is being driven by analysis of big data. The synthesis of these diverse data streams is key, and artificial intelligence, machine learning, gaming, virtualization, social networking are these emerging tools. I love the quote, "Tools change the way we interact with one another and how we behave, therefore how we think." So kind of think about it. We've got genomics. We're sequenced the blue crab here in this building, but we're also can sequence the other organisms in the bay. We got genetic sequences. We've got remote sensing at 1 meter square resolution in the 64,000 square mile watershed with land use data that we can derive from remote sensing. We've got sensors. We collect 8 to 10 million data points a year on Chesapeake Bay alone. We've got social, economic data that we can get at the census tract level. Think about putting those different data layers together and creating new and interesting insights. So not only are the tools evolving, but the way we actually conduct science is changing. At the times of change, the learners will be the ones who inherit the world, while the knowers will be beautifully prepared for a world that no longer exists. So we want to break through and create new scientific methodologies. Now, we've traditionally had a lot of think tanks, science synthesis centers, and we even sponsored one in Annapolis in partnership with the University of Maryland, College Park. That one was called the SSYNC, the National Socio-Environmental Synthesis Center. What we did in those synthesis centers, we wrote papers, really high-profile synthetic papers that we published in scientific journals. And those journals then were read by other scientists, but typically behind paywalls, more science-to-science communication. What we want is a think and do tank. We want to practice Aristotle's word praxis, thoughtful, practical doing. So we want to do more than traditional academics, and that's why this room is filled with not just academics. Now, we've been doing this for about a century, as I indicated, 1925 when we started. And what we did at the beginning of the century here in Maryland is invent estuarine science, the science of where freshwater and saltwater mix, the physics, the geology, the biology, the chemistry. We learned how estuaries worked. We spent 50 years doing that. But then, starting about 1972, we had this dramatic event, Hurricane Agnes, and the bay degradation faced us, and we had to figure out what was causing the degradation. So we entered a phase of eutrophication science to understand the drivers, nutrients, that were affecting the bay. And then we formed the Chesapeake Bay program based on that research that was conducted in the 70s. And that created this integrated monitoring and modeling program that the Bay program's run for 40 years, 40-year anniversary right now. And then we created a citizen science program in 2015, but now we're launching the Collaboratory, the Chesapeake Global Collaboratory. It's the next phase of our evolution as an institution based on the strong record we have of doing science that's meaningful, connecting with our agencies, and working hand in hand. So the 5 functions that we've identified for our global collaboratory are cyber infrastructure. We need to move big data around. We need to scrape data from different sources. We need big pipes to move that data. We need computing power to study it. We need the data scientists to analyze, interpret, and synthesize the data. We have to work with stakeholders and engage with them in a way that's meaningful, that brings those diverse voices to the table. We need good science communication, and we need education and training to bring the next generation of problem solvers to fore. The state of Maryland has put in some money. We've got a new building we're going to be building on the Chesapeake Biological Laboratory campus called the Chesapeake Analytics Collaborative Building. So that's an artist's rendition, but we're looking forward to breaking ground on that sometime soon. And this diagram kind of captures what we're going to do today and tomorrow. This is the path that we see. We take our complex social environmental problems, we put it together, our novel approaches, diverse voices, and innovative tools in a collaboratory. We're going to do breakouts for each of those today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to develop actionable solutions. So why now? Why the collaboratory now? We've been doing this for 98 plus years. What's going on that's different? Well, we do have nutrients in the Chesapeake watershed going the right direction. Not fast enough. We're missing our 2025 goals for our nutrient diet. But we are going in the right direction, but it took 40 years. We don't have 40 years to take on these challenges that we have. The urgency of this is that we need to accelerate our response to these urgent problems. So that's why we need this collaboratory now, and we need to move it quickly so that we can accelerate how we respond to these challenges. So my takeaways are that we need this collaboratory urgently. We think we're the right place to do this. We have the right people, we have the right facilities, and we have a focus, a 98-year-old focus on providing solutions through research. And we have a bunch of research projects underway. So the other great news we've received recently is we've got $18 million cumulatively in National Science Foundation and NOAA funding, specifically to deal with those issues that I established earlier for the collaboratory. Data analysis, cyber infrastructure, diversifying our voices, and come up with new approaches. So we've got a building, we've got NSF funding, now we need to institutionalize this to be able to move this forward in the future. So that's the big picture and